Greenland from a national security situation.
Imagine an island that could decide the fate of nations. A frozen frontier rich in oil, rare minerals, and strategic power. Greenland, a place that has long been overlooked, now sits at the center of a potential global crisis. After US's bold operation in Venezuela, Donald Trump has turned his gaze northward, to Greenland. The White House is now openly considering a range of options to acquire the Arctic territory. But this is no ordinary land deal. Trump's team is weighing traditional diplomacy, a potential purchase, or even an audacious military move to secure control over Greenland. The stakes are immense, and the world is watching. History reminds us that the United States has long pursued strategic acquisitions. In 1867, Alaska became America's frontier. Decades later, secret plans even considered Greenland as a purchase. Now, a century and a half later, the ambition has returned, and it's bigger, bolder, and far more dangerous. Greenland's wealth is staggering. Rare earth minerals crucial for telecommunications. Uranium, vast oil reserves, and natural gas previously thought unreachable. Currently, China dominates much of the global supply. Greenland could shift that balance, giving the United States unprecedented control over resources vital for the 21st century. For Trump, it's not just about economics. It's about national security, Arctic dominance, and a show of American power that the world cannot ignore. Trump has repeatedly stated that Greenland is essential for America's security. Military action remains on the table, but so does diplomacy, or a complex deal that gives the United States military unrivaled access, while Greenland retains a semblance of independence. But Greenlanders are resisting. The island's leaders have said clearly, Greenland is not for sale. Any attempt to forcibly acquire the territory would challenge centuries of law, sovereignty, and self-determination.
Firstly, I believe that the American president should be taken seriously when he says that he wants Greenland. But I also want to make it clear that if the United States chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops. That is including our NATO and thus the security that has been provided since the end of the Second World War. I believe in democracy and I believe in the international rules. Of course, I also believe that you do not change borders by force either one way or another. It is not only the position of Denmark and the Danish kingdom, fortunately, of Europe too. So I hope that the people will also take note of the once again significant European support that we are receiving.
Jeg havde lyst til at sige nej, men jeg tror jo nok, at vi bliver nødt til at sige, at der er noget, der tyder på, at han bare gør, som han vil. Så jo, det synes jeg, vi skal.
Nu har vi hørt på det et års tid, så den første tanke, det er jo, at det er, nu siger han tingene igen, men man bliver en lille smule mere bekymret i den her omgang.
European allies are watching closely. Britain, France, Germany, and other nations have pledged to defend Denmark and Greenland, warning the United States not to violate international law. A military move could fracture NATO, a cornerstone of global security.
The future of Greenland is a decision for Greenland and for Denmark exclusively. It's their decision. Secondly, from a NATO context, the way I would frame it is that the western flank of NATO, which would include Greenland, the Arctic, is, given the evolving threat environment, is an area that we as NATO, Canada obviously importantly, given our geography, need to invest more in. Canadian oil will be competitive because it is low risk, clearly low risk, low cost, the marginal costs. There's been huge progress in getting down the cost, and low carbon, which is what the Pathways project, carbon capture, will bring. And that makes Canadian oil competitive for the medium and long term.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk told reporters in Warsaw that Denmark can count on European solidarity over Greenland, and said no NATO member should threaten or attack another.
And it's not just Europe. Russia and China are deeply invested in the Arctic. Experts warn that any US military action in Greenland could trigger a polar arms race, escalating into a global confrontation over this icy frontier. Meanwhile, the United States is exploring creative strategies such as compacts of free association, agreements that allow military access without formal conquest. Such a deal would mirror arrangements in the Pacific, giving America control while keeping Greenland technically independent. But would it be accepted? The Greenlandic people and Denmark would certainly resist. US faces a choice: pursue a diplomatic purchase, push for military dominance, or risk international condemnation in pursuit of strategic resources. For Trump, the stakes are clear. Greenland represents economic, military, and geopolitical power in one frozen package. To miss it could be unthinkable. This is not just an island, it is a symbol of ambition, a test of global alliances, and a potential flashpoint for the next geopolitical crisis. Whoever controls Greenland could control the Arctic and perhaps the world. Will Greenland remain free under Danish protection, or will it become the ultimate American stronghold? The next moves by Washington and Copenhagen could redefine global power forever. The eyes of the world are fixed on this frozen frontier, and history is waiting.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.